Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Salty Sundays. Well, dust on my salt lamp. It's been a while since I licked it, I guess. Get off my salt lamp! We can't be having no dead skin flakes on my salt lamp, guys. For me to lick, and that's it. It's not a dust catcher, stupid dust. Stay out of here. Get off my lamp. Get off my lawn! So, guys, something incredible is happening to my channel right now as I speak. I'm getting incredibly close to passing 20,000 subscribers. Right now I'm actually at 19,897 and it's Friday at 4:30 p.m. So by the time this goes up, I will have passed 20,000 subscribers because this video is going to go up on Sunday, obviously. And this is absolutely incredible. 20,000 people have subscribed to my channel as of Sunday. I'm gonna assume that I've already passed 20,000. Unless all of you unsubscribe on Saturday. I'm just gonna go out on a limb here and assume that I've gotten 20,000 subscribers. To be completely honest, the way I feel about 19,897 subscribers is indifferent from the way I feel about 20,000 subscribers. They're both huge numbers, and each one of those numbers is a human being that finds enjoyment out of watching my content, or I guess they find enjoyment out of hating it too. Some people will just subscribe to dislike the videos. I never completely understood that, but people gotta do what they gotta do, I guess. 20,000 subscribers is an insanely large number. I started this channel in April of 2014 with 90 subscribers that I had accumulated since 2010 when my first video came out. You guys have never seen my very first video. You may think you know my first video. You don't. It's unlisted because it's really embarrassing. Had a lot of views though. It was before I had this deep masculine voice. I was basically a little girl, and I used to record videos on how to mod games and stuff. And I was like, "All right, what's up, you guys? It's your boy Keemstar, Killer Keemstar." All right, guys, it's Leafy back again. I got a really crazy story to tell you guys right now, dude. Shut the fuck up! You! Sorry, that was my Leafy impression. I don't really know what he says. I don't really watch very many of his videos, so I couldn't do a good context version of that impression, but I think he goes, "All right, you guys." I think he does that. I don't really know. I don't know why I started doing a Leafy impression. I'm sorry, guys. Maybe I just want to get in on that YouTube drama. Anybody want to start some shit? Yeah, basically, I'm rambling on a lot, but 20,000 subscribers is a huge number, and I cannot thank you guys enough. I really appreciate all the support, all the likes, all the comments I get. I try to answer as many as I can. I actually spend around 2 hours a day now just answering comments, going back, looking through comments, making sure there's nothing new. It's really time consuming, but it's worth it because I get to communicate with you guys, and that's what makes this as a hobby. It's a hobby right now. I want it to become my job, but for right now, it's still a hobby. But I love it so much. It's almost hard to even call it a hobby because I spend so much time doing it. I spend more hours a day doing YouTube than I do with my actual full-time job. If that's a good way to gauge how into this I am, that should give you guys enough of an idea of what I'm in this for. I really like interacting with you guys. I really love it, and there's just more and more of you coming in every single day. My channel's been growing insanely fast lately. It's been blowing my mind. I've been getting a great amount of views. I'm actually completely blown away every day I look at my stats on my channel of just how much it's grown, especially in the last few months. And that's thanks in part to a lot of things. I've been playing a lot of games that have been getting pretty good exposure. I've been playing with Matt Shea. Obviously, most of you guys know who that is. It's been a culmination of a lot of different things that have helped me get to the level I am now. And I hope it never stops. I hope I keep growing. I hope I can achieve something great and touch a lot of people's lives with my channel and make a lot of people laugh and entertain as many people as I possibly can, because that is my goal, and I will never lose sight of it. Anyways, enough of the 20,000 talk mumbo jumbo. I have a very special episode of Salty Sundays for you guys. It's incredibly incoherent, and you're probably all gonna lose some brain cells, but it's basically me attempting to cook ramen noodles again with broth. I don't know if you guys have been around for long enough to know that I made a video in December of 2014 on how to cook ramen noodles. It actually has a lot of views, but I got a lot of shit for it because I did it incorrectly. So in the old video, I didn't actually include an ingredient in the noodles, and a lot of people were arguing that they weren't actually ramen noodles, which is true. Technically, that is very true. So this time, I tried to remake them using an alkalizing salt to get the same rubberiness that ramen noodles have, actual traditional ramen noodles. We don't have Kensui where I live. You cannot find that. That's the actual alkalizing salt that they use in ramen noodles in Japan, but you cannot buy that where I live. And the best substitute is just sodium bicarbonate baked to lose a carbon atom to where it's sodium carbonate. It's an alkalizing salt, but it tastes a little bit funky. It doesn't taste quite as good as Kansui. I did my absolute best, and I hope you guys enjoy this episode of Salty Sundays. And thank you for 20,000 subscribers. That is a fucking huge number. Pardon my French, you bitch is. I don't know why I'm wearing headphones. So guys, my mind keeps getting blown every single day, and I cannot thank each and every one of you enough. I will try my best to keep answering comments, but I don't know how much longer I'll be able to answer almost every single comment, because they're coming in fast, guys. They're coming in fast. I only have 2 hands. If I was a 3-hand person, it'd be a lot easier. Maybe if I had 8 fingers, I could type faster or some shit. I might have to hire someone to answer comments for me. There we go. There we go. That's what I'll do. I'll hire Dibbles. Dibbles will answer my comments. If you guys get a reply that looks like someone just smashed a keyboard, it was Dibbles. So without any further ado, you punk ass bitches, welcome to Salty Sundays. Salty Sundays. Oh, it's making me hungry, guys. Oh, that's not actually really making me that hungry because it's just flour, but soon it'll make me hungry. Hello everybody, I'm back again for the first time showing you all how to make ramen noodles. Ramen noodles, damn it. And not the ones in the little packaging that last forever, including they go in your mouth and they come out of your body still in ramen shape as poop. You poop out ramen. I've actually tried to show you guys how to make ramen before, but apparently it was not correct. It was not correct in the sense that it wasn't traditional ramen. I didn't really know exactly what could be classified as ramen. I didn't realize there was like alkalinity and shit like that. I didn't know much about ramen, to be honest. All I know is it tasted good. I used egg in my noodles last time, which was apparently completely incorrect. A lot of people got really mad at me. A lot of people got really upset. I got a lot of hate mail, a few death threats, you know, just the usual. The usual internet reaction when you say one thing wrong. It was actually a lot of things wrong, though. I take full credit for all the stupid shit I said about ramen in the last video, which was over a year ago. It was December 2014, guys. December, when I was a little baby Oompa. It was before I was Papa Oomsy. But this video is meant to hopefully redeem myself in the ramen world. So I'm gonna try to make the very best ramen I can. And last time I didn't make broth very well. So I'm also gonna show you guys how to make broth, which is why I have all these ingredients chopped up. This right here, these 3 ingredients here, the onions, the carrot, and the celery. That's called a mirepoix. If you're a suave chef like me, suave, handsome devil. It's called a mirepoix, guys. It's called a mirepoix, not a menage a trois. My dad actually told me that was a menage a trois, and he was serious too. He actually thought that was a menage a trois, but he was wrong. When he went to go look up menage a trois to see what the exact meaning was, he was very surprised. It had nothing to do with cooking, believe it or not. What you guys are going to need for the noodles is a few cups of flour. This is 3 cups of flour. This is how much flour I'm going to use to make the amount of noodles that I'm going to make. You guys don't have to do the exact shit that I do. I don't think it's that important to follow directions exactly unless you're baking. And this isn't really baking, this is noodle making, and everyone has their own recipes, I believe, when it comes to ramen, especially locally in Japan. So this is my recipe. This is my American recipe. There's one extremely important ingredient that I do not have the ability to access, and that is Kansui. Kansui, something like that. That's something that a lot of guys told me, and girls probably, told me was the main ingredient in ramen, or one of the main ingredients that actually makes the ramen. With Kansui, it changes the texture of the noodle, and it allows it to hold up in soups better and stuff like that. And that's caused by the alkalinity. So instead of Kansui, I've created something called sodium carbonate, which is basically just baked baking soda. Like, that's what happens to baking soda, sodium bicarbonate. When you bake it, it loses a carbon atom, so it becomes sodium carbonate, and it's an alkalizing salt, which is really similar to what Kansui is, as far as I understand. I think there's one more ingredient that uses some sort of potassium carbonate, maybe, in Kansui. I'm not entirely sure, so just don't believe anything I say. Just, if you want to make ramen noodles that might taste good, follow the recipe, and it'll be good. So 3 cups of flour, okay? Once you guys have the flour, you need to get some water and mix in some of the sodium carbonate. I will do that. Give me 1 second, please. So here we've got a 1/2 cup of pretty warm water, and I'm just gonna use this abnormally large spoon. This thing is giant, look at this. This thing is huge, seriously guys. It's obscene, look, you can see my reflection in it. Look at that, there I am. Sprinkle in some of the sodium carbonate, and but these are not mine, by the way. These amazing, very manly patterns are not mine. This is my mom's. So just add a bit of the sodium carbonate in there. It doesn't really matter exactly how much you add, but it's making me want to sneeze. But just make sure you stir it around the entire time, and make sure it's hot water as well. If I haven't said that enough, sprinkle in a little bit more of the dirty shiznu. Okay, a little bit more. That should be about good, guys. It's probably, I don't know, 3.5, 4 tablespoons in there. Somewhere around that measurement into nice warm water. So I'm gonna add some cold water to cool this down before I put it on the flour. So now you just pour it into the flour, and I'm pretty sure it's a general rule to add the wets on top of the dries, but I'm not entirely sure because I am a moron. So I might actually need a little bit more water than that. No, that looks good. That looks to be pretty good. So now you just commence the mixture process. This should take like, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes, somewhere along that line. So stick around. You guys can also use your hands if you want. I like using my hands because it feels cool on my fingers. But you can use a tool. You can use a utensil, I suppose, if you're a pussy. If you like the way it feels in your hands, then power to you. Just keep on kneading the dough, boys. Keep on kneading the dough. Sorry, guys. Cooking makes me weird. I get so excited to eat, I just start losing my sanity. Get off my fingers, little bastard. Quit making noise, bowl. It smells a little bit like a pet food shop, which is from it's minerally. It's earthy, like a pet food shop. If you guys know what that smells like. From the sodium carbonate in the dough mixture. It's uncanny how much it smells like a pet food shop, guys. It smells like fish food, kinda. It's weird. I hope it tastes good. Just kidding, it'll taste good. Oh, I just threw a piece of dough. There you go. Get back here, you little bastard. It's starting to get a little firm. This very well may turn out to be the worst cooking video on the internet. I'm very excited. I'm really excited to see what you guys are gonna think. Got our pet food dough ball here. It's coming along very nicely. It's a pizza pie. So after about 5 minutes of vigorous molestation and thrusting and grunting, you should have a pretty pliable dough ball. You need to wrap it in plastic, guys. Wrap it in plastic, and then let it sit for about 5 minutes. Okay. Oh my God, stupid bowl out of the way. God damn it, why do I even do this shit? I'm tired of cooking. I don't want to cook anymore. There we go. There we go. There we go. And now, guys, if you decide you don't want to make ramen out of this, you can actually give it to a child as a toy, and he can probably find some good fun in it. Or you could also give it to like an adult, like a person maybe like me that would also find some extreme enjoyment out of it. So now that physical activity is over, we can move on to making the broth. Guys. Now it's time we move on to the broth, boys and girls. So, get yourself a nice little pan, like the one I got right here. This one right here. And you turn the heat on to medium, right there, just like that, boom. Oh, wrong burner, sorry, hold on. There we go. Just pretend like that didn't happen. There's gonna be a lot of mistakes in this video. So what we're gonna do first is make this medley of vegetables and whatever mushroom, fungus medley. We're gonna make this medley of delicious things grown from the earth. Sweat. We're gonna make them sweat is what chefs call it. I don't know why. I usually whenever I think of making things sweat, it usually has to do with exercise, and not a big fan. Just waiting for the skillet to heat up. So I think the pot itself is actually hot enough now, so I'm gonna get some olive oil, and I'm gonna pour a little bit of that in there, and then it's gonna be sweat and stuff. Once again, there's no exact amount. Just do whatever your heart desires. I rarely ever measure things, and usually whatever I cook turns out pretty well. So once you get a good feel for it, it'll just come naturally. Now I'm just waiting for the oil to heat up. Cooking involves a lot of patience. I had no idea. No wonder so many people don't like it. Boring as hell. Hopefully it's more fun to watch me do it. So now you need to get one of these things, guys, right here. Another thing you can see my reflection in. You get one of these things, and then the vegetables, or whatever the fuck they're called, the roots, I don't even know what they are, guys, really, to be honest. So the ingredients of the broth are green onions, shiitake mushrooms, it's just a white onion, garlic, carrots, and celery. And the garlic is just whole cloves that I just crushed. Basically, I didn't chop them up or anything like that. In my opinion, that is the best option for soups. And I also didn't peel the carrot. It's got a little bit of dirt on it, which it adds flavor. The little hair piece on the onion, I also left that. All that stuff is not important because we're not going to be eating it, so it doesn't matter. It's just going to contribute to the flavor of the broth. Get off my finger, onion boy. That was a piece of garlic. So the first things that go into the pot are going to be the garlic cloves, the onion, and the carrot. I'm not going to grab them all at once because I'm not an idiot. Well, I mean, I am an idiot, but I'm not a brave idiot. So now these guys are in the pot. They're cooking, they're sweating, they're getting their good exercise in 5 days a week. That's right, 30 minutes a day at least, kids. You need to stay healthy, you need to stay fit, and you need to stay active, damn it! Or you could just be a carrot and have someone cook you. That's also a good recipe to sweat. So you only need to really sweat these guys for about 5 minutes, and I need to add some salt and pepper to this. Once again, it doesn't really matter how much you add as long as you just don't add too much or too little. So there's a perfect medium. You'll find it. I promise. Okay? A little too much salt's not going to ruin the whole damn thing, you dummy. You stupid idiot. Also, another pro tip, you should probably sweat the Ménage à Trois with the lid on so that some of the juices stay in there so they don't escape into the air and you don't inhale them. You actually want to eat those delicious Ménage à Trois juices. Now we wait again. Actually, guys, we don't have to wait any longer. This is the dogue that the dogue ball that we were working on earlier, and it's been wrapped up for probably like 8 to 10 minutes now. I said 5 minutes, but I also forgot about it because I was too busy smelling it and realizing how much it smelled like fish food. So you want to knead that again for probably about another 5 more minutes, and then put it in the fridge for anywhere between 30 minutes to 48 fucking hours, okay? Normally I would let it sit for probably about an hour, but for the sake of this video, I'm gonna let it sit for about 35 minutes, probably 45 seconds, because I'm tired of waiting for shit. I keep kneading it for 5 minutes, and then wrap it back up and put it in a cold spot for about 30 minutes to 10 years. Ow. Always experiment, always try to break the rules, guys. If I learned anything from law school, which I didn't go to, you can always break the rules, is what I learned. You can always break the rules, guys. Don't be afraid to break the law. That's the stupidest shit. In the fridge you go, fish ball. As you guys can see, these sweating vegetables have lost quite a bit of their water content, and they've shrunk down a little bit, and the flavor has been concentrated effectively. So, now I'm gonna add the shrooms and the green onions. So once you add those, you just wanna stir the whole thing up, and then once again, let it sweat for probably another couple minutes, and then we're gonna add the broth, guys. That's the exciting part. That's when the soup starts to come together. You would not believe how good this smells right now. Or, instead of adding the broth, you could always just take it off the burner, put it on a plate, and eat it. That's what I like to do. So now I've given the mushrooms and green onions a chance to sweat a little bit, and they've started to get a little soft. They've gotten a little soft, and their will is breaking. We need to grab the chicken broth and beef broth, and then douse the vegetables in such juice. So for this particular broth for the ramen, I'm using mainly chicken broth. You guys can use whatever you want. You can use more beef broth if you want. For actual specific amount, this is 32 ounces of chicken broth. And I'm going to have another one of those, and then I'm going to have a small, how many ounces is this? A small 15-ounce can of beef broth on top of the chicken broth. And to me, that makes an excellent mild flavor. And it's delicious with the noodles in it, I promise. Now this is fun. It's much better than that boring waiting shit. Oh, I'm out. Did you hear the way it moaned? I'm all out! Stop squeezing! How do I open this can? Got the worst can opener ever here, guys. This thing sucks. It's an absolute piece of shit. But it works, though. And that's all that matters, right? Oh, silky brown beef. I almost said chicken broth. Silky brown beef broth. Oh! So there's your broth, guys. Now that the actual liquid is in here, I would recommend probably cooking it down for 30 minutes to an hour, but you can do more. Obviously, the longer you cook it, the more concentrated the flavor will be because there will be less water in the broth, especially if you don't cook it with the lid on. I recommend for the first little while to leave the lid off so you'll lose a little bit of the water. and you'll have a more concentrated, more savory broth, or some shit like that, I don't know. So yeah, cook it for about 30 minutes to an hour, and taste it, obviously. Add more salt if it needs salt, add pepper. If it needs pepper, add red pepper if it needs red pepper. You can even add more fats to it if you want. You guys can add more olive oil, coconut oil. You can do what you can literally do whatever you want. I don't like recipes because they're too linear. I like to do whatever the fuck I want. So I'm just gonna eat all of it right now. You can even put ginger in it if you want. I always find that ginger adds a good flavor. And not to mention, this is a fairly healthy stew that I've made here. It's a healthy witch's potion. It will cure many things from diarrhea to constipation to occasional gas and bloating, and possibly could even cure a broken heart, guys. This soup's good for everything from diarrhea to a broken heart. Alright, Joe, well, I'll let you cook there, and then I'll come back to you later and put some ramen noodles. I don't know why I'm doing this with my hands, guys. I'm sorry. I'm an eccentric character. So after spending about 30 minutes in the fridge, your ramen dough is about ready to start cutting. Now you guys can use a noodle puller. or a pasta machine. I don't know what they're called. Or you can, I think in Japan, they hand pull the noodles in some cases. I'm not exactly sure like how that works. I know I see them and they do that weird shit. And they're like, hoo, ha, hoo, and they throw it and it lands on the ground and it turns into a bunch of noodles. But I can't do that because I am incapable. I like to cut it in half like this, and then take each half and flatten it out a little bit like you're making a little ramen pizza, guys. And then you grab some flour and spread it around on your surface, and then cover each side of the dough with the flour so it won't stick to itself, and you start flattening. Now this is a giant pain in the ass. This gets easier the longer you leave the dough in the fridge, I'm pretty sure. But for the sake of this video, I'm just gonna bite the bullet and try to stretch this dough, even though it's only been in the fridge for about 30 minutes. So I got my giant rolling pin here. So once you have your dough rolled out to about noodle thickness, you guys can see, I'll let you judge once again. There's no specific thickness. You can have your own noodles however thick you want. If you want a big old chode noodle, then you can have a big old chode noodle. I like my noodles thin and delicate. You just start rolling the dough up just like this, guys. Just like this, lightly rolling it up, folding like that. It's like a giant, it's gonna be like a giant ramen burrito. Giant ramen burrito. So I've cut the ends off here. You can you can flatten those out again and make them into noodles as well. You can turn them into their very own little ramen burritos, but for now I'm just gonna cut up this one beautiful noodle burrito, okay guys, okay? Prepare yourselves. So once you chop your ramen burrito up into a bunch of little noodles, I guess, they're ramen noodles kind of, you wanna kind of mess them up so they're all long and not constricted. So they're not, basically, so they're not still rolled up in burrito form. You don't want to be boiling a burrito. You want to boil a ramen noodle. So the next step is to boil a pot of water, put a little bit of salt in it once it starts boiling, and then grab your noodles and throw them in. Lightly, let them fluff around a little bit so they don't all clump together, and then just pray, hope and pray that they come out perfectly. For noodles that are this thick, I would recommend cooking them for about 5 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. Definitely taste them until they're al dente. If you're lucky enough to have a pasta machine, which I would really recommend using this recipe and actually using a pasta machine just because you get more consistency with your noodles, obviously. I suck at using a knife, so these noodles are going to be a little bit big, and they tend to get a little bit gummy when they're large, so most likely the results you'll get with a pasta machine will be better because the noodles will be obviously even, and they'll be a little bit thinner, and it won't take as long for them to cook. But you also have to be really careful because there's so much flour on the noodles. The water will overflow a little bit, so once it starts boiling back, you can turn down the heat to half. I had it on medium-high. So definitely turn it down a little bit. So after a few minutes, the noodles will be fully cooked, and we can take them off the heat and put them through a strainer and run a little bit of cold water on them so they don't keep on cooking. So that's what I'm going to do, but I'm not going to record it because it's pointless. And here we are with the extremely anticlimactic end result. Try your hand at it, see if you can make it better than me. Maybe you have a noodle machine, maybe your noodles will look a little bit more appetizing. They still taste great. They taste surprisingly good with the alkalized salt, and for it smelling like pet stores, I was kind of thrown off by that a little bit, but it's definitely better than I thought it was going to be, especially with the broth. The broth is absolutely delicious. I knew it was going to be delicious, but the noodles, last time I made them, I actually made them away from home and I used a noodle machine, and they were excellent with the alkalized salt, but the the thicker noodles, I was curious to see how they would fare with the standard chopping method. And they're extremely good. This is gonna be an extremely enjoyable meal. Thank you guys for watching regardless. This took about 3.5 hours, so I really hope you enjoy at least a little bit. Maybe you guys can actually try the recipe too and see if you like it. Maybe you can do something better. Leave a comment down below if I made a mistake and you wanna tell me that I made a mistake, because if I didn't tell you to leave a comment, you probably would leave a comment anyways. And since I told you to leave a comment, you're basically obeying my commands. That just gives me a way to get a little one-up on you, you judgmental bastard. Yep, so pop goes the weasel. I'm gonna go eat my ramen. I'm like that guy in that song, I'm in love with the cocoa. I got baking soda, I got baking soda for the ramen. Yeah.